So there are many points in my career that I've disagreed with feedback. I'm that kind of aggressive person, right? When it comes to disagreeing with people feedback. Again, you feel like I'm this gentle person and oh, I'm coming to you to ask for feedback, right? You feel like, oh, if anything you tell me, I must accept it, right? Because I'm coming to you. It doesn't work that way, right? It's something that I got to realize over the course of my career that the person needs to really understand, okay, exactly why you're coming to meet the person for.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Teapot, the Pulse of Tech podcast, where we have insightful conversations about building digital products, brands, and teams, as well as explore the challenges of the tech industry. This is Lady Adeniyi again. I'm your host, and I'm excited to have you here today. Today, we are talking about feedback. I believe feedback is the invisible ladder to success, and if anyone wants to grow faster without guesswork, you need to take feedback very seriously. It has helped me a lot in my career. However, I didn't always used to like hearing feedback, and me being the egoist that I am, I struggled a lot in the beginning of my career, but I learned how to actually receive feedback and how to turn it into sort of like a weapon for growth. One very important person who shares this value is Victor Onazi. Victor, welcome to our podcast.
Yo,
Should I
yo,
clap?
yo. No, you don't have to clap.
Yeah.
Yo. This is
You
Victor.
deserve all the claps. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Victor, Victor and I worked together probably 7 years ago now.
yeah.
Uh,
It's been that long, right?
it's been a long time. We looked so different back then. Yeah.
Oh, damn. I was just looking at. It was it Facebook or Instagram, right? So I was looking at one of our throwback that when I was explaining what UI UX wireframes, a couple of
Yeah.
us in that. I don't know what room is that, but it felt like, oh
One
no.
of those rooms. One
Yes,
of those rooms. Isheri, Wakanda.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you were always the one videoing me and capturing those memories. And I
Yeah.
was so grateful for you, really.
Yeah,
So,
that's me.
yeah,
That's me.
man, it's been a long time coming, right?
Yeah. I mean, we learned a lot from each other back then. One of the reasons why we're talking about feedback today is because I received a lot of feedback from you. You received a lot of feedback from me. And,
Yeah,
it was a way where we could be vulnerable about giving each other feedback without any judgment,
judgment, yeah.
without feeling like it was an attack, right?
Attack, actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because me personally, I used to be very defensive because I would pour so much of myself into work, and I wouldn't want anyone to talk about my
Seriously,
work. And
literally.
I felt more comfortable working alone for that reason. But
Yeah,
I think I think it stifled my growth in the early stages because working alone, to me, I was like, yeah, one man army, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
doing
But
that, yeah.
I wasn't really getting feedback from like my peers, from like my colleagues.
Colleagues and all those
And
big.
yeah, so I started to learn that, feedback can be a great driving force for career success. So
One thing I want to even say is that you were one of the people that actually even helped in giving feedback. And this is not because of the podcast, so it's just because of the fact that this is truth. So I've been having to start my career. Virtual Garden Group, where we both work then, was one of the like early places where I started my career, and you were really there to support. And obviously, you were like my mentor then, right? You're still my mentor, anyways. But yeah, I look up to you for so many things. That's
I
why the
don't know if
fact
I
that
still
I'm a product
qualify.
guy.
I don't know
No,
if I still
serious.
qualify,
You,
but yeah.
you you actually still do, right? It might not necessarily work because I'm a product designer full
Hmm.
time, right? And you do mixture of everything, right? So,
Yeah.
but it still boils out like I grab some knowledge from you and all those bits. So I see you definitely as a mentor, And apart from even work, other aspect as well. You know what it is.
Yes. I know. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
yeah.
So for those of you guys who don't know Victor, Victor is a product designer. How many years experience now? About 8 years
No,
experience, I think.
it's not. No, it's not up to 8 yet. I haven't
Yeah,
reached that level. Yeah, more like six, six now.
well, yeah, let's say 6 years of experience. So I'll just allow you to introduce
Okay.
yourself and share your journey, so they can. I'm sure people are wondering, oh, why should we listen to this guy? For the people that don't already know you, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll just shut up and let you speak.
Okay. So I was thinking, how do I start my journey? How do I start explaining my journey to people? Yeah. Anyways, I'm Victor. I think that's the best way to start by telling everyone my name. So I'm Victor Onazi. I'm product designer. I've been doing this for over 6 years now professionally. Before I was a product designer, I used to be a front-end developer, which which I was doing with Walidi. So why I'm laughing is
Yeah.
I just literally said that I've known Walidi for over 7 years, right? So yeah, I used to be a front-end developer, more like full-time or part-time as well, before switching to product design. I know you might be curious to ask, oh, why did I eventually switch? Really, the honest reason is I really just love visuals. I fell in love with visuals and I didn't want to sit in the back seat. I'm not saying that always sits in the back seat, right? I'm just saying that product design rather gave me the ability to be able to face out to the world more. And I used to be this very shy person. And thanks to product design, it helped me uncover the shyness. So I was very open. So yeah, so my whole journey started in officially like 2019 uh, at Venture Garden Group. I joined in as an intern then, thanks to my cousin that pulled me up and connected me. So I had amazing people like Walide to mentor me and put me through different phases of my career. I mean, when you had been in IT space, I was given an option to either choose back end, front end. I think there was now UI UX then there, because
Yeah.
that was when
It was not popular back then.
it
Yeah.
wasn't really popular back then, but I know you were doing it.
Mm.
Walide used to be this kind of guy that would do logo. Only he would do the logo. Only he would design a website. Only he would out code the website. Only he would do the back end. He would do everything end to end from logo to literally everything. And I thought of Walide as a very good mentor, really. So that's why I'm still re-emphasizing that. So yeah, I mean, it played a really
Thanks,
huge
man.
part. You actually did play a huge part in my career and growth and all. So I think after my internship, I went back to school to conclude my stuff. And after I graduated, I got my first role. I mean, before I graduated, I was doing like a couple of contract gigs. As a product designer now, I was doing some couple of contract gigs and I landed my first role. Official first role at Up Digitals. I mean, Up Digitals was a digital agency then. Not quite popular, but it was something that at least I did respect them because I saw the work they're doing and they were paying me good, really, because fresh out of school and just busting out and getting cold cash, right? So yeah, so it was so amazing to witness all that, and then I got into Number, another some couple of companies as well, all came along the way. Then after my time at Number, I relocated to UK, and yeah, I am in UK now. I'm working in an advertising service, so it's more like it was a strange field for me because all my years I've been dealing with fintech, right? So I'm that fintech person. I mean, I always call myself a fintech pro, product design fintech pro, right? You know all those folks that write fintech product design, and that's kind of person I was. But having to come in a new environment, now faced with a different challenge. I mean, this challenge was an advertising space. I remember clearly before getting into the company, I was asking myself that that what would I be designing if I enter?
Yeah.
Because it
No more
felt,
wallet screens and
yeah,
everything.
do you get no more wallet and all this bit? And funny enough is the way I adapted quickly to the environment that I was really shocked about, because I got to see that, oh, I could really design. From my perspective, design is how you think and how you solve a problem. So if you can basically see a problem and solve it and follow the process, do iteration, do whatever you need to do, I think you'll be fine and good. So it was that mindset I used. And yeah, I've been in an advertising agency, not agency, advertising space now. It's not an agency, it's just an advertising industry, right? I've been there for over 1 year now. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So if you care to know, if you want to know the company, it's called Bar Media Outdoor. They were formerly called Clear Channel International, but now it's Bar Media Outdoor. So yeah, that's I think that's a nutshell about myself. I hope I covered everything
Yeah, I
I
think
needed
pretty
to cover.
much. Yeah, pretty much. You've covered your
So
journey
in
and how you
case,
started and how you got here.
yeah, okay, cool. Because I was going to say, in case if you do not get anything, just to summarize again, I used to be a front-end developer that jumped into being a product designer, and I fell in love with product design more, and I'm here.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I felt that introduction was really long, but
No,
who cares? Victor cares.
Yeah, I personally don't think it was long. I mean, you were able to capture the essence of what got you to where you are now, so I think it's pretty much solid. So from the perspective of getting feedback, I know many people dread feedback, and like I said, I used to dread feedback, even though I was like very proud about it. Like I wouldn't, yeah. But deep down, I feel like I feel like I worked so hard because I didn't want people to judge my work harshly. So I would make sure that I do something that is so amazing that nobody can even nobody must see anything. I was very closely guarded with my work, right? And like you said, even though I was doing everything with the everything, I was closely guarded with everything as
Yeah.
well. So why do you think people are that way? That they closely guard their work, they don't want feedback. Why do you think people are that way, or some people in this case?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. Why I said it's interesting because you listed like the reason why you feel about feedback, right? Already, why speaking? So I think for me, from what I observe and over the couple of years, in terms of even me giving feedback to people and even receiving feedback, I'm telling people that I want their feedback. I think from my own point of view, right, people feel it's a personal thing. I mean, feedback can be really personal and it can really get really dicey to anybody. So whoever you are requesting feedback from needs to understand that this is a personal stuff, right? And I think people feel like it's a way of judging their talent. I mean, people feel like yeah. So people feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. Like, why would I be why would I be able to collect this feedback from them? So for example now, right, you can design like a probably okay, why I'm saying design, because obviously I'm a designer, so just to give that disclaimer, right? So people can look like you design like a single interface and you ask your manager or you ask your boss that, oh, I need a feedback from this. Before you even going to ask your manager, you would have thought about every edge cases as wide as possible. And there will always be that feeling that, oh, let this person not judge me and let this person not say anything like, oh, my work is not really good. I know there's that fear, really. I just want to say that feedback is not, it shouldn't put you in a mindset of fear, really, of your work being judged. I think it should put you in a mindset for you to grow, like see others' point of view, see other people's perspective. So firstly, I feel like people should, obviously feedback is personal. So next thing is people should not see it as a judgment of your talent, because it is not. It is just for you to basically grow and for you to improve your skills. So yeah.
That's actually very valid, and for some reason, it seems so simple an answer, but I never actually thought of it that way. You
Yeah.
feel like they are judging the capacity of your talents, um,
Exactly.
and I'm going to speak personally because I'm the kind of person that it's not like I necessarily think I'm very smart, but whatever
Mm-hmm.
work I do, because I put so much thought, so much passion into it, I feel like it has to be very good. And then why would somebody say it's not great? I'm like,
Yeah.
why would
I
somebody
mean,
say it's not great? And,
you have to.
and it gets you to a defensive point where you're like, and you say, show me your work now, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then it becomes like a competition. But
Competition, we shouldn't be.
yeah, it really shouldn't be. And I, very early on, you start to realize that there's really no point competing with other people, like especially when you want to be the best
Mm-hmm.
at what you can be, right? You want to be the
Yeah.
best you can be. What's the point competing with other people, because they themselves are trying to be the best they can be, right? So you're on different paths, first of all.
Yeah.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
the feedback that you're getting is going to allow you to think in different perspectives, and
Yeah.
to be honest, tunnel vision is a thing, right? Because
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you're
Yeah.
seeing something in a very specific way, and you need to learn to become open-minded to other people's points of views, whether
Yeah.
it's terrible or it's not terrible.
Terrible. Exactly.
But to be honest, sometimes they might be judging you, and that's okay.
Yeah. It's literally okay.
It
You get.
needs to be okay.
It's more like a giving and receiving stuff, right? So the way you receive it is a mindset, and I feel like that's a skills, and the way you give as well, it's a skills. So I want people to really understand that feedback is more like a tool. So it's not a way more like to judge your confidence
Mm,
or judge your skills, or let it not sound like a threat to how you're confident. Because if you're scared to request from feedback from somebody, that your confidence will just keep dying because you're having that fear that, oh, this person will not like my work, right? So and
yeah.
you literally do not want that. Whether it's beautiful or not, I feel it's more like a tool for you to grow. You want to understand other people's perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know back then people would put their work on Twitter and then ask for feedback.
I
I
did
think
that a
I
lot.
think you did that a lot.
Yeah,
I could never get myself to do it.
yeah.
Personally, even though I felt like I was growing in receiving feedback,
Mm-hmm.
um, I felt like I needed feedback to come from people that I trusted, because
Yeah,
I was still very closely guarded with my work, right? And some some people would say, that is limiting my potential. People need to see my work more, which
yeah,
I agree, right? Depending on the goals that I have. But I don't think it's hindered my goals. For me specifically,
yeah.
not posting my work very often, because for me personally, I wanted feedback from the people that I trusted, the people that I thought were, that I could learn from. I was never really
Mm-hmm.
that social media person, and I've tried multiple times to be better at it. It just hasn't worked. Like maybe
Work, yeah.
I'll become active for like a couple of weeks, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm just off again, and I disappear, and I just go back into working, and
Okay, working.
there's just so much work to do. And then the feedback are probably from my team members or my team leaders and things like that. So just went to, what do you think about, do you think everybody should put their work out there and allow it to be, I don't say judge because we literally just talked about it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, like, do you think everyone should put their work out there to receive feedback from everyone?
So this is subjective, really. Well, I mean, my partner, right? She's that kind of person that don't really post her work out there, right? But at the same time, I'm always that advocacy to always putting your stuff out there. I mean, I'm always this kind of person to put your stuff out there to not just putting yourself out there to receive feedback, right? But putting yourself out there to create like a track record of stuff you've done and people getting to see how well you've improved over the couple of years or weeks or months and all those bits.
Yeah.
So yeah, in my point of view, I feel everybody should actually put their work out there. Let people know what you're doing. That's one. But again, putting your work out there, and obviously you will definitely receive feedback, right? So be open to feedback. But again, just depends on how well the feedback comes in. So it might be good, it might be bad. But you should be able to decipher or basically able to know exactly which one is a good feedback and which one is a bad feedback. So that's where it gets really complex out there when you put your work, because you can literally tell this one say, oh, change your button to yellow, another person say change it to blue. No, yellow will make it blue, or just kind of makes weird stuff happening out there. So that's when it gets really
without
tricky.
Without context,
Exactly.
on unsolicited advice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
100%. I feel like feedback is, important for, like, it's very crucial for career success. Like you said, you want people to see how you're growing. When you're very visible, people think of you when job opportunities come.
Exactly. Yeah.
And things like that. I've been able to attain a certain level of career success without doing that. But there's also the point to be made that I could have made a whole lot more career success if I was doing that. So you can't really knock it until you try it, So I'll just take that as my own feedback, which is the entire point of this episode.
And again, you don't necessarily have to put your stuff out there, right? But all our advice is always ask for feedback. It might not be on social media, it might not be anywhere, it might just be a couple of friends, it might just be a close circle of people. You can just or you feel like this person knows more than you, right? You can't even be your peers, because you just want to understand different people's perspective on what they are thinking about your design. Obviously, when you're presenting your stuff, you get to ask them and say, oh, this is what I'm presenting, or this is the reason why I'm doing this, and this is the design, right? Or this is the development, or this is what I've built. So, and you ask them for it, and if they give you feedback, fine, cool, and you get to improve on it. And again, it's more like a growth stuff for you personally. So,
there's literally no downside to it. Maybe your feelings get bruised a little bit, but it makes you stronger.
Most times.
There's literally no downside to it. There's only upside.
Exactly.
And if somebody gives you feedback that you think is stupid, that also should inform you that there will be more people that think like that.
Exactly.
So, it's literally all just data. But let me ask you a more personal question. Can you share a time when feedback dramatically improved your work personally, and how did you receive it? How was it given to you, and how did you apply it to your workflow?
So I think one major highlight that always keep coming to mind anytime I hear a question like this is one experience I had on a freelance gig then. So this was about 2 years ago. I don't want to call the company name, but it's about 2 years ago. I mean, it's something that really helped me shape how I think, right? But I got to realize that, I mean, the statement goes like, don't fall in love with your first ideas. I mean, fall in love in solving the problem rather than your ideas. I mean, your first idea can solve a problem, fine. But if your first idea cannot solve the problem, and if that's your best idea, and you feel that's your best idea and it's not solving the problem, obviously that's not good. And I feel that's a waste really. So yeah, speaking of an example, right? So I was working again. I'm a designer, so I will just be coming from the point of a design perspective, right? So I was working on this fintech dashboard, right? It entails like a lot of workflows. Obviously, we can tell we both worked in fintech at some point, really. So we know how complex fintech can be, right? So
Yeah.
like I did everything. I, I I did everything with my own possible best to work on that dashboard to make it really look nice. So then I requested for a design critic because that's always me, right? Because I always just pull into different people to come and say, "Oh, tell me what
And I
is not
always
good."
admire you for that, by the way. I don't think I ever
Yeah.
said that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's a very
So
brave thing to do.
I think that's one of the things that really helped me grow, right? Because if I ask you, look at this design, tell me what's not good. Always try to tell you that look for the things that are not good, that are not working right. So you give you that mindset to think, oh, I'm not looking for you to come and sweet quote me or give me a sweet word to hear. I don't want to hear your sweet word. I want to actually give me facts, right? So yeah.
Yeah.
So back to my story, right? When presenting this to other designers for a critique, right? And they were like, what problem am I trying to solve? After I presented everything, right, they asked me that, oh, what problem am I trying to solve? To be very honest, I couldn't identify the problem I was trying to solve, right?
Yeah.
so, so, so that question rang in my head for, I mean, obviously it was a long call, but for the first like 1 minute, I was blank. I was actually knew what I was trying to solve, right? The whole problem. But presenting that and explaining everything to them and them not asking me that, I feel like, do these people not understand what I just did? Like, so that was why
Yeah.
that awkward silence was there.
So it
And
literally just
like,
means you did not communicate the problem you're trying to solve. You're just
solve
gisting them.
just in right.
Yeah.
So after I communicated the problem, I told them, though, this is what I'm trying to solve. And they were like, this design is really nice. They love the design. But one thing for sure that they found out that this flow wasn't usable. I mean, in terms of it wasn't working. And I was like, oh, and they started giving me like, oh, insight, what if, different what if. And I got to realize that, oh, there are a lot of different scenarios that I missed out in this.
Yeah.
And I think that particular memory, I mean, obviously it was Finger, it was a long time ago. That particular memory or that particular experience made me to realize that when designing or when presenting everything, I should think about different edge cases, right? So that particular feedback of what if made me realize that I needed to think about different edge cases. There might be different edge cases. There might be a situation whereby a balance might be zero, or probably KYC is not requesting, or probably you try to upload something, it fails, or probably different reasons, right? Having to get that feedback from that person or that obviously senior designer there was really very insightful, and it really helped me and changed my perspective in terms of feedback, right? So yeah.
Yeah. This particular feedback that you said you had to learn is one of the things that I think everybody has to go through at some
Mm-hmm.
point, right?
Yeah.
Even if it comes naturally to you, there are some moments where you miss it, and it doesn't matter whether you are a product designer or an engineer.
Yeah.
As long as you are building a product that people are going to use, there will
Yeah.
be a million edge cases right? And
Yeah.
to the point where if the product manager misses it, the product designer misses it, the front end engineer misses it, the back end engineer has to catch it.
Catch it. Exactly. Because you don't want to production and
You don't
add
want
some
post
things.
production.
It's
And
users
that's
that
the thing.
identify the edge cases for
Users
you.
now identify the edge cases for you, and then it becomes an embarrassing
Very,
moment. They are sending
very
support
embarrassing.
issues. Yeah, they are sending support issues like this thing happened, this thing happens. And for an industry like fintech, it's very dangerous not to think of edge cases because it could be a security flaw.
Yeah.
Right. So it's that feedback I think was very important. And for me personally, it's one of the feedbacks that I like to give my engineers and my product people. Thinking of edge cases, it's not just the job of the designer, it's not the job of the product manager, the engineers
Manager.
as well. The engineers are at the last line of defense for edge cases.
secure
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
The product designers, the product managers, they are thinking of a million things at the same time. The engineers are the ones that would now catch it, and it's because they are the ones that they are thinking of how they are going to build the
Yeah.
thing. It's what separates you from being a good engineer and a great engineer,
Exactly.
because there are some engineers that like to say, oh, that's the job of the PM, or that's the job of the designer, let the designer
Designer.
figure it out.
Figure
But
it out, yeah.
the interesting thing is the best product designers that one of the best product designers that I know, they started in engineering, or they are engineers
Engineers
themselves.
themselves, yeah.
That experience also teaches you a lot in terms of how to think about edge cases, because you're thinking about different states in the products. You're thinking about
Product, yeah.
how to cater for all these things. And
Yeah.
so it's one of those things where when you're working within a team, you might be the smartest person in the world, you would miss something.
No,
And
definitely. It's
yeah,
the engineers I actually work with, right? They're amazing, right? So they always like tell me most times, right? I mean, not 100% always, but at least 40% of the time, they are the ones that come up with some edge cases that I might have missed.
yeah.
Which is really, really shocking because I will not really think around this set. But the engineers like, Victor, did you think about this? I was like, oh, my days, I've forgotten about this. Like, how did you bring this up? Like, man, they get to just think, oh, this
And
is the
that's the
thing
way
that
it
might
should be.
happen. Yeah, I feel like it's more like a collaborative effort, more like a joint effort to make sure everything is successful. Only one person cannot do it, right?
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
I feel like sometimes a lot of us forget about the collaborative part of being in a team, and it's literally in the name team, right?
exactly.
The product engineering team, there's some people that say, oh, that's product's problem, that's not my problem. I feel like the entire product scope, it falls on all our shoulders. It's all our responsibility, right? And if you are a product designer that doesn't think of edge cases, like, this is very important, as you just said.
Yeah,
Like, it can be a mad security issue, right?
man,
and
really.
and for engineers as well, there are things the engineers will catch that product designers will not catch. So there has to be that level of care.
Think,
Yeah,
yeah,
care, collaboration, and it needs to come in a way that is collaborative, right? Not you missed
no,
this thing, you're not
the
a great
most,
designer. Yeah,
that's where, that's where, that's where feedback comes in as well. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Speaking of that, like, how do you handle harsh or poorly delivered feedback personally?
Harsh feedback. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of an example, right? So, in terms of harsh feedback, so okay, for now I cannot remember an example, but I'll just give like how I handle it personally. Feedback can come in different ways. I mean, it can come in a very constructive way, it can come in a very vague way and all. So in terms of how I receive it, the person can come like, oh, I mean, obviously in the design field, they'll just say, I want the design to pop, right? I don't know what that really means, but just should let the design pop. The matter, I mean, that's an harsh feedback from my own point of view. That's an harsh feedback because there's no clarity on exactly what the person is trying to define for you, right? So you just said make design pop, and that feels like I don't know what to do. So that's an harsh feedback. So how I receive it is just draw the person and ask for clarity, really. We really want to understand the person's point of view, what the person is thinking at that particular point. Because make it pop is not always a clear direction, right? It's just, I would say it's vague. Not just design wise, it can relate to engineers or any product person, really. It can just say, oh, I don't like this. It's not clear. It's just really harsh. I feel like it should be clear enough. So you need to be able to ask the person for clarity in order to understand exactly. I mean, personally, that's how I handle it. And when the person give me clarity and I feel like it's not really going the way we want, I let the person know and just really back it up with my facts and data. And rather than just talking with mere words, I have proof and track record. I always like using the word track record because of its history. Yeah, I mean, you get to show people did it like this and they succeed. Another company did it like this and they succeed as well. So you need to show those track record to whoever is giving the feedback or is giving you harsh feedback, really. So yeah.
That's very valid. One of the things that I took away was ask for clarity, which is very important. Back up
Mm-hmm.
your work with data, which is even more important.
Mm-hmm.
And showing track record of success with that particular kind of work.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking from the point of view of the person that is giving you that feedback, it's coming from a place of lack of knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they know in their head they think something is wrong, but
Yeah.
they can't exactly put it into words
What
what is wrong. So they just say stuff like make it pop, make it better.
better?
What exactly does that mean? And then you as a professional, it's now your job to now say, get them on a call or
A
just
call,
ask them,
exactly.
what do you exactly mean? Then they still want to know, but you have to ask specific probing questions to get them to think and now give you the best
Yeah.
answer, to the best of their knowledge. Because most of the time um the person leading you, or
Mm-hmm.
if it's a freelance situation and it's a client, you have more knowledge of the subject matter than the client, so you need to be the
Yes.
one explaining,
Explain to
right?
the client, right?
And you build more trust that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, that's
And some
that
and
one makes
sometimes, right?
sense.
Yeah. And sometimes, right? It might not necessarily just be make it pop. It might be actual good feedback, but it might come in a harsh way, right?
Yeah.
So, so as a professional, as a designer, as an engineer, you need to be able to not let the tone get into you, right? I mean, the way the person came up and said, "Oh, I don't like this. This is rubbish. I feel it should be X, Y, Z. Do this or." Guy, the person can obviously explain all this stuff to you properly, right? But it came up in a very aggressive or harsh manner. But you, as a professional, again, you just understand the person point of perspective, try to get clarity on all those bits. But again, don't let the attitude get
Yeah.
into what you're trying to deliver, right? Just focus on the truth, really.
Yeah.
If it's not working, really, you just, even though the person, this is not working, I don't like how it is, and this is the reason why I feel it's not working, that can come out aggressively sometimes, right? But
Yeah.
again, it's the truth. It's not working. But you just have to bear that in mind and just learn to separate the truth from the tone. So yeah.
Yeah. And to be fair, not
Mm-hmm.
everyone knows how to regulate their emotions. So
Actually, yeah,
you need to be able to dissociate yourself from all that
that's
and
exactly, yeah,
protect your own space. You are the professional, you know,
yeah.
take take the good with the bad, and
Mm-hmm.
if it comes off as disrespectful, protect your own space, right?
Yeah,
If you don't want to be disrespected. But
exactly,
to be
yeah.
honest, even with disrespectful feedback, there can be some usefulness in there
In it, exactly.
if
You just
you
have to see it.
if you learn how to like regulate your own emotions, and
Mm-hmm.
they might even respect you more if you know how to regulate your emotions more than the
That's
other
the key.
person.
Exactly. They were
Yeah,
just so like the way you handle this. And
yeah,
that can be a feedback that can come up in your 360 circle review or stuff like that. Like,
exactly,
I like how you
exactly.
handle feedback. You get
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I totally understand. So what if you disagree with the feedback that the
Hmm.
person is giving you? When should you push back? Or should you push back at all? Should you adapt to it? What's the best way for you to maximize your growth? Because the entire point of receiving feedback, like if you remember, it's to maximize your own personal growth and your own career
Yeah.
growth. So is there is there any usefulness to disagreeing with feedback at any point, or
Yeah.
just pushing back?
So there are
Okay.
many points in my career that I've disagreed with feedback. I'm not,
Do tell.
yeah. So I'm that kind of aggressive person, right? When it comes to disagreeing with people feedback. Again, you feel like I'm this gentle person and oh, I'm coming to you to ask for feedback, right? You feel like, oh, if anything you tell me, I must accept it, right? Because I'm coming to you. It doesn't work that way, right? It's something that I got to realize over the course of my career that the person needs to really understand, okay, exactly why you're coming to meet the person for feedback and all. So yeah, if a person give you a feedback and obviously you disagree with it, and just the fun fact that the only time would when I can personally, from my own point of view, and I believe every designer is listening to this as well should understand that is when the feedback basically now doesn't align with like the goal or the problem you're trying
Mm,
to solve. Really, I think those are like the major fact. And again, you're solving a problem and you say that, oh, this is the user's need you're trying to solve for, or rather this is the user problem you're trying to solve for, and you've designed a user need, probably like a feature or something that is actually solving that problem. It's working, all functional and it's all good, and somebody comes and either making it two step, the person comes and tells you that, oh, let's make it five more step. That's and again, the overall business goal at that point is to reduce numbers of click or onboard people into the platform more. And you've solved a problem with two step, and somebody's telling you that you should make it five step.
mm,
From that particular experience, you can obviously tell that you have to disagree with this, right? But again, this is more like a very high level view. There might be some other reasons why it might be five
mm,
step or why the person is saying five step. But just from a high
yeah.
level point of view, you can already tell that, oh, this is something that I might disagree with because why would you want me to do five step when the business already said that, oh, we want people to come in quickly into the platform and you've created a solution that was only two step, right? So I feel like that kind of feedback, you already proved that you can disagree with that because you can show that, oh, that's not meeting the business goal and users need at that point. And I think the other fact that I love to clear is that at the end of the day, you as a designer, you as a product person, you're here to deliver like the best user experience for whoever the users might be. And you are that advocate, I would say, because you have to be the person to cage whatever decision. You're asking feedback. Oh, this is the feedback. This is what I feel like it should be. You explain to the person, and the person is telling you, oh, this is it, this is it. Fine, I get your gist, I get what you're trying to say. But at the same time, You don't want the person to put you in the place whereby it's defeating the purpose of the whole solution, which is like reduce numbers of click or probably onboard people into the platform quick or reduce just stuff like that. And I would say again.
So this makes a lot of sense. So what you're essentially saying, and to everyone listening, what you're essentially saying is, if someone gives you feedback, you need to be able to discern whether it's useful feedback or not, depending on the
Exactly.
specific situation.
Yeah.
Because the two truths can exist. There are situations where there are no wrong options, right? There are no wrong ideas, there are no off ideas, but you need to be able to say, based on this business decision, this is the best way to go about it, not this
Exactly.
other way. So you need to be able to speak up and explain the reason
Yeah.
why you made that decision. If the business decision was different, it would have been a valid feedback. But
Yeah.
because in your specific situation you want to onboard users quickly, so it's the onboard process is 2 steps, right? And then this other person is saying the onboarding process should be 5 steps. So for you, you want the business goal is to onboard users quickly, but at the
Quickly.
same time, if the person is, for example, if the person is like a compliance person and they're saying they want to collect more KYC information, so it needs to be 5 steps because we need this KYC information
Yeah.
because of
Of
compliance
X's, yeah.
and all these things. So it's valid, but the business goal is clear. We need to
Yeah.
onboard users quickly because users are dropping off.
Exactly.
So can we onboard the users very quickly in 2 steps, get them into the platform, and then give them a setup twist
Exactly.
where they can upload their
Exactly.
KYC
Do you
information
get
after? Yeah.
see this FinTech mindset is thing you trust me.
Yeah. I mean, so
so,
I I
so
mean,
yeah,
I
like
love, like personally, I love to build products that are delightful, right? I
yeah.
don't, if you tell me to onboard and I'm saying, and I see like a multi-step form, I'll enter my name, email address, everything. I'll now click next, and then I'll now
Next.
see
You keep
upload this form,
going.
upload
Upload
this
this one.
upload this document, and I click next. I don't know where the document is, and all of a sudden I'm spending 4 hours trying to onboard on your platform.
Platform, yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's very
important.
terrifying, right?
Yeah, it's important, but when you are thinking of user experience, it's terrible user experience when you actually put yourself in the user's shoes, right?
Users,
Which
yeah.
is the entire point of design thinking and all those things. So
All the
yeah,
stuff,
I
yeah.
I totally understand, and the way you described it really made sense because you really, at that point, you need to disagree, and it's what
Nah, definitely.
it's what I think it's also what separates you from a yes man. And within a lot of teams, people value the person that's able to communicate their ideas in a
Yeah.
respectful way, in a
Yeah.
smart way, with data, and in a way that makes sense. And also at the same time, not shutting down the other person's idea. Because
Exactly.
really, when you think about it, it's not a bad idea, but in this particular context, it doesn't make sense to go with that idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want us to go through some rapid fire questions. Bang 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 bang
Okay.
bang. All right.
Tuku.
So let's see. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Chocolate.
Okay, I think that's mine too. I think it's chocolate
Yeah.
too. Nice. Do you have a favorite movie? What's it?
Favorite movies had. I'm very vast in terms of movie, right? But I'll just mention a couple of range because I'm a movie person, right? So, Pirate of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a very good movie franchise. Although
Mm-hmm.
it's been so long that I don't really remember much about it. Just some flashes here and there. What's your favorite type of music?
Oh, Christian hip hop.
Okay, yeah, you post a lot of those. If you're going to
Yeah.
have one superpower, what would it be?
Hmm. Time travel.
Okay, okay, that's dope. That's deep. I like that.
Yeah.
Um, are you a coffee or a tea person?
Mixture of both, but I'll just say T.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. iPhone or Android?
iPhone or live.
Of, of course. Dark mode or light mode?
Dark mode.
Yeah, always, always. Okay, makes sense. So let me ask the final question.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to give an advice to someone that's just starting out, that was a strong head like me back in the day, what advice would you give the person?
In terms of feedback, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just there's like two advice that I have. I mean, the second one might be from a design perspective, and the first one might be like general perspective. So the first idea is don't always believe your first ideas are the best until you ask for feedback, right? And even after asking for feedback, right, there's still like a couple of things you can improve on. So again, don't always believe your first ideas are the greatest, they're the best. They are not, there are lots of more. So yeah,
Yes.
so that's the first advice. So in terms of second advice, in terms of design related, right? Don't just design it to make something look good. Don't just design for it being pretty. Like design it to actually solve a problem. So focus on problem solving than making it really nice. Like the example I was giving regarding the FinTech dashboard I designed back then, and they were like, what is it actually solving the problem? I know. Currently, I was so focused on making it look really nice rather than paying attention of solving the actual problem. So again, I mean, there should be that balance, but right, it should be fine. I'm not saying it should not be fine, but let your attention not just be the aesthetic of it. Let it be more of blending of making it fine at the same time solving the problem. So yeah.
That makes sense. When you first said it, I actually wrote it down. Don't fall in love with your first idea. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's a very difficult advice to take when you're first starting out.
Yeah.
Because when you're first starting out, those early ideas that you have, they feel
Mm-hmm.
like the world to you. It's like, yo, so even me, I can have great ideas like this. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's it's something that is magical. You feel like you can change the world with your idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as time goes by, you realize that ideas are something that comes every couple of days. Like the next $1 billion idea can pop
Yeah.
into your head at any
Exactly.
time. The
Yeah.
best way to, you think the best way to solve a problem that came from you
Mm-hmm.
is like the next thing after sliced bread. You know, it's beautiful, and
Yeah.
you might not be open to someone else's idea when,
Mm-hmm.
like the scenario we spoke about where you wanted to use 2 steps, somebody else wanted to use 5 steps.
5 step. Yeah.
The person that wanted to use 5 steps, to that person, that might be like a novel idea to him,
That might
and
be the best.
that might be his best idea, and you might
Yeah.
not want to let that idea go.
Go. Yeah.
If you're the person giving that idea, you'd be like, no, even though you are saying these 2 steps is the
Saying it.
best,
Yeah.
these 5 steps is the best, they
Yeah.
will defend it with their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I I totally agree with that line, and I think I'm going to take it with me and I'm going to use it, because
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very important. don't fall in love with your first idea. It's important to listen to other people's perspectives and then now gauge whether that idea actually makes sense for the specific scenario and context that you are using it in.
Exactly.
It might be a great idea for something else, but is it a great idea for the problem that you're trying to solve?
To solve, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I think this was very insightful and amazing. Thank you so much, Victor Onazi. Thank you so much for
Man,
coming on my podcast.
I'm really happy to be here. I mean, thanks for being such an amazing person. I mean, to many of us,
thank you so much
for hosting this wonderful podcast. I'm really lucky to be here, to get an invite from Walede.
Oh, please!
You don't know
our small podcast that we're just doing.
This guy, please.
Yeah.
But yeah, great work, man. Really.
Thanks a lot, man. So where can people reach out to you if they want to find out more, if they want to, ask questions? Where can they find you?
just Victor Onazi on LinkedIn. Victor Onazi, you can always add me, I'll add you. Twitter, but I rarely go on Twitter anyways, but just go to Victor Onazi _ I just go to look, but if you can find me there, fine. Yeah. But to be very just more specific, go on LinkedIn. I always add all my connections, so I'm always happy to chat, happy to grab a coffee if you're in the UK as well. So yeah.
That's fair. Okay. So yeah, do you have any shameless plugs to plug? Maybe you're working on a project or something that you just want people to know about.
Yeah, so not really. I think I have one event I'm organizing, right? But it's in the UK, right? So it's something that it's called Everyday Money. So what we're trying to achieve from this is we're trying to see how people think about finance and how they basically do stuff regarding finance. So it's happening. It's me and my friend that is organizing it. So we're trying to see how we can bring together top industry leaders and product thinkers, engineers, anybody really, as long as you're in the product space and you deal with everyday money. Like that's the thing, right? And so just watch out for the space. The Future is on LinkedIn as well. You can check The Future and you can give us a follow. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated because the first event is happening August. And it's happening in UK to be specific. But if you can come, fine. But again,
that would be awesome.
We're most likely going to stream it as well. So, but yeah, just want to put that out there.
That would be awesome. If I can be there, I'll be there. I mean, if I can't, I'll stream it. But you said The Future. Yeah. How do I get that? Is there like a social media page?
Yes, there's a social media page. So social media page for now it's just on LinkedIn and LinkedIn and Instagram.
Okay. The Future. Okay.
You can just check out thefuture.com. I mean, just The Future, FUTURR. That's the spelling of our future.
Okay, thefuture.com. Okay, I'll add it to the description of this episode as well, so people can just check. Yeah. So let me talk about the sponsor of this podcast episode. So the podcast is powered by Dula. Dula is a strategic partner for rapid growing companies in need of products and engineering guidance. So check us out at www.dula.studio. And for the podcast specifically, engage with us on social media, share your feedback, tell us who you'd like to hear from in future episodes. Our social media handles is at Pulse of Tech Pod on all platforms. So I'll add that to this description as well. If you want to say hi to me personally, hit me up at Walide on all social media platforms, and Lady Adeniyi on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks so
Thank
much for
you.
listening to
Thank
the
you.
end. This has been
Thank you, guys.
amazing. Always nice
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to you,
yeah.
man.
All right, man. Yeah.
Stay tuned for future episodes.
Please subscribe. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe
Subs,
button. Hit it. Hit
subs.
it.
I've actually never said that though. Oh, yeah, subscribe.
Subscribe. Yeah.
Like,
Like,
subscribe.
comment,
Turn on comments. Turn on your post
your notification.
notifications. Man,